All right, let's be real. Marvel Contest of Champions is all about two things at the end of the day: attackers and defenders. Simple, right? But for the longest time, everybody, and I mean everybody, has been obsessed with attackers. Who's got the biggest crits? Who melts the fastest? Who turns fights into highlight reels? And yeah, that's fun. It's flashy. But let me ask you this: what happens when you're the one on defense? Because here's the thing, it's not just about who you can beat, it's about who can stop your opponent. That's where Battlegrounds flipped the script. That's why Alliance War is still a huge deal. And with all the hints Kabam keeps dropping about new competitive modes, you can't ignore your defense anymore. If you do, you're just handing out free wins. So that's exactly why I'm making this series. We're bringing out the best defenders in the game. Not just one or two, not just the obvious ones. We're going deep. Every class, every top-tier defender, and in the end, we'll lock down the definitive top 10 list of the absolute best defenders in Marvel Contest of Champions. And once we've done that, we're breaking it down even further. A full series on the best defenders in each class. Because ranking up the right defenders is just as important as ranking up the right attackers. You could have a full roster of nukes, but if your defense is weak, you're getting cooked. Your opponent is running through your roster like it's a warm-up match. And I know some of you are probably thinking, man, I don't really care about defense, I just want to blitz through fights. Cool. But guess what? Your opponents do care. And when you run into someone with a stacked defense, you're gonna wish you had a plan. That's what this series is for. To give you that edge. To make sure you know exactly which champions you need, why they're good, and how to use them to your advantage. Whether it's Battlegrounds, War, or whatever crazy mode Kabam is working on next, you'll be ready. So, if you're tired of losing winnable fights, if you want to start locking people out of victories, and if you want to make sure your roster is as strong on defense as it is on offense, then stick around. Let's talk defense. Alright, today we're kicking this series off with a bang. We're not wasting time. We're diving straight into the biggest, baddest, most annoying, most rage-inducing defenders in Marvel Contest of Champions right now. The ones that are making people throw their phones. The ones dominating Battlegrounds and War. The ones that make you wish you had just banned them instead of thinking, I'll take my chances. That's right, we're starting this off with the top 5 defenders in the game right now. After this, we're rolling out a full series breaking down the top 5 defenders in each class, so you'll know exactly who dominates: skill, mutant, mystic, you name it. If you want to make sure your defense is just as strong as your attack, you're gonna want to keep up with this series. So if you're not sure whether to subscribe just yet, cool, no pressure. But if you're serious about getting better at Battlegrounds and War, or if you just want to know which champions you should absolutely not ignore on defense, stick around, because this series is about to change the way you think about defenders. Alright, enough talking. Let's get into the top 5 defenders in Marvel Contest of Champions. Alright, before we get into the top 5, let's take a second to talk about a defender who is an absolute menace, but doesn't quite make the main list: Maestro. Now, I know some of y'all might be thinking, wait, why isn't he in the top 5? And trust me, I hear you. This guy is a tank, he's frustrating to fight, and he can waste your time like no other. But there's one big reason why he's only an honorable mention. Most players don't even have him. Why is Maestro an honorable mention? To get 7-star Maestro, you have to fully explore Necropolis. That's one of the hardest things in the game right now, and only a tiny percentage of players, mostly whales and top-tier endgame grinders, have actually done it. Yeah, you can get a 6-star version just by completing Necropolis, which is great, but let's be honest, the real prize is that 7-star. And since most players don't have access to him yet, he stays in the honorable mentions. Does Maestro need awakening for defense? Nope, not at all. That's one of the best things about Maestro. He's already a monster defender, no need to awaken him. No need to pour Sig Stones into him. He's just a pain to deal with right out of the box. Now, if you want to use him for offense, then yeah, you'll want that awakened ability. But for defense, he's already a nightmare without it. Why is Maestro a nightmare defender? All right, let's get into what really makes Maestro a problem. 1. Huge health pool. He's a tank. This dude can take hits all day. If you're not bringing a strong counter, be ready for a long, frustrating fight. He's not going down easy. 2. The worst part? His glancing ability. Now, this is what makes Maestro truly annoying. He gains neutronium charges just by being in combat, and when he reaches 10 charges, he gets 100% glancing on all basic attacks. That means no crits, lower damage, almost every hit is useless. And guess what? This glancing lasts almost 40 seconds. 40 seconds! In a fight, that's an eternity. If you're in Battlegrounds or War, you do not want to be stuck in this situation. Now, you might think, oh, I'll just nuke him down before he gets to 10 charges. Yeah, good luck with that. Most of the time, he's gonna hit 10, and then you're just stuck waiting it out. 3. Triple immunity. Forget about certain counters. Oh, and if you're thinking about bringing someone who relies on poison, shock, or incinerate, yeah, don't even try it. Maestro is completely immune to all 3, so if your strategy depends on damage over time debuffs, you're gonna have a bad time. 4. How do you even counter him? There are ways to deal with him, but it's not easy. Heavy bleeds and degen can help, since those still work. But while glancing is active, you can't boost your damage at all. So unless you have a perfect counter, you're just stuck waiting for it to end. So yeah, Maestro is an absolute nightmare on defense. If more players had him, he'd probably make the top 5. But since he's still locked behind one of the hardest challenges in the game, he stays in honorable mention territory. For now. But if you ever see a maxed out 7-star Maestro in Battlegrounds or War, be prepared for pain. Alright, so Maestro is a problem. But guess what? There's another special prize champion who might be even tankier than him. Yeah, I'm talking about Deathless Thanos. And just like Maestro, this dude is ridiculously hard to get. But if you manage to snag him, you've got an absolute monster. Both offensively and defensively. Why is Deathless Thanos an honorable mention? Simple. He's insanely rare. You can't just pull him from a regular crystal. You need to collect all the available Deathless champions first, and only then do you get a shot at unlocking Deathless Thanos. And if you want him awakened, you're looking at a full Necropolis run with all the Deathless champions to complete the objective. That's a grind, a huge grind. That's why he's not in the top 5, not because he isn't worthy, but because most players simply don't have him. Is Awakening necessary for defense? Yes, 100%. Unawakened Deathless Thanos? He's not really a problem. If you know how to handle his specials, he's manageable. But Awakened? That's where the nightmare begins. Why is Deathless Thanos a nightmare defender? 1. Insane tankiness. Possibly tougher than Maestro. Look, Maestro is tanky, no doubt, but Deathless Thanos might actually be worse. His health pool is massive, and once he's awakened, he has one of the most frustrating protection abilities in the game. This is what makes him a defensive menace. Once he's awakened, he gets crazy protection, which means your biggest damage dealers suddenly feel like they're hitting with pool noodles. Your crits? Yeah, they don't do what they should. You need a specific counter, or this fight is going to take forever. If you don't have a champion that can counter protection, you're in for a miserable fight. Alright, enough waiting around. It's time to get into the real top 5 defenders you can actually pull from crystals. And kicking things off at number 5, Photon. If you have Photon sitting in your roster, just know this. You've got one of the most annoying defenders in the entire game. And I mean that in the best way possible. She's a certified problem on defense, an absolute unit on offense. And honestly, if you're sleeping on her, you're missing out. Does she need to be awakened for defense? Nope. She's already a pain to fight straight out of the box. Awakening makes her better, but even unawakened, she's got everything she needs to ruin your day. Why is Photon such a defensive nightmare? 1. She's a ghost you can't hit. Fighting Photon feels like trying to punch a ghost. She's got miss abilities all over the place, and if you don't bring the right counter, you're just swinging at nothing, looking goofy while she sets up to destroy you. Untouchable? Miss? Yeah, she's got all that nonsense. And you're gonna hate it. Unavoidable specials. You mess up, you die. Even if you somehow get past her miss abilities, one mistake and it's lights out. Special attacks are unavoidable. That means you can't dex them, you can't block them, you just gotta eat the damage if you slip up. And let's be real, you will slip up. Why you should rank up Photon. Listen, if you're ranking her up, you're making one of the best investments in the entire science class. She's insane on defense and just as good on offense, so it's not even a waste. She's one of those champions you rank up and never regret it. 1 down, 4 to go. Number 4, Enchantress. Alright, listen, I cannot stand fighting Enchantress. Like, I genuinely hate this champion in the best possible way. She's one of the most miserable defenders you'll ever have to deal with, and honestly, I'd rather fight almost anyone else. And here's the worst part. She's not even the most annoying defender on this list. Yeah, it gets worse. Does she need to be awakened for defense? Kinda, yeah. Unawakened, she's already frustrating, but that awakened ability just cranks up the pain. More power steal? Check. Longer lasting spells? Yep. Even more of a headache? Absolutely. If you're dealing with an awakened Enchantress, your fight just got 10x harder. Why is Enchantress such a defensive nightmare? 1. Annoying AI plus stupid amount of defensive abilities. Right out the gate, she's a defensive powerhouse. Her AI is super passive and weird. She's loaded with defensive abilities that make your life miserable. Even with the right counter, there's no guarantee you'll get out clean. Every time I see her in war, I just know I'm about to have a terrible time. 2. The SP2 problem. She refuses to throw it. If you've ever fought Enchantress, you already know where this is going. This woman will not throw her special 2 until she's forced you to eat multiple SP1s. And those SP1s? Yeah, they hit like a truck. Unavoidable damage. Takes a massive chunk of your health. Absolutely frustrating to deal with. And with all the bugs in the game right now, it's even worse. She's a pure nightmare to fight. If you don't have a perfect counter, you're gonna suffer. And the worst part? She's not even the worst defender on this list. Yeah, it gets even worse from here. That's 2 down, 3 to go. 3. All right, let's talk about this absolute menace. Bullseye is built to make your life miserable. This guy is basically a walking, talking, evading, debuff, shrugging disaster for anyone who isn't 100% ready to deal with him. And the worst part? He doesn't miss. Ever. No dodging, no dexing, no cheesing. He will hit you. Does Bullseye need to be awakened for defense? Oh yeah, 100%. Not only does he need to be awakened, but you want him at high signature levels to really push him into full nightmare mode. Unawakened? Still annoying. Awakened plus high sig? You're gonna need therapy after fighting him. Why is Bullseye an absolute defensive nightmare? 1. He throws specials like a madman. You think you've got control? Nope. He's launching specials left and right. You back off for a second? Here comes another special 1. Special 2? Yeah, have fun dodging that. If you don't shut him down fast, you're just stuck in a never-ending loop of pain. Evades like crazy. Look, we've all fought annoying evade champions before, but Bullseye? He evades at the worst possible moments. He'll bait you into attacking only to evade and punish. You think you've got an opening? LOL, nope, it's infuriating. 3. He shrugs off stuns like it's nothing. Think you're safe after parrying? Guess again. Bullseye has a chance to purify up to 10 debuffs. 10. That means your parry might just vanish. Your slow debuff? Gone. Your ability to control the fight? Yeah, forget about it. And if that wasn't enough, his special attacks mitigate incoming damage. So even if you're finally about to finish him off, this guy just tanks your hit and keeps going. Imagine this. You're in Battlegrounds. Bullseye is at 1% health. You just need one more hit to finish him. Boom. He purifies your stun, evades your hit, and melts you down before you can react. Frustrating? That's an understatement. This guy is the definition of a nightmare defender. If you're ranking up a defender, this dude is an absolute must-have. Annoying AI? Check. Evade spam? Check. Debuff shrugging nonsense? Double check. Ruins your entire day? Oh, for sure. And the best or worst part? We still have 2 defenders worse than this guy. Yeah, this list is about to get even more painful. Number 2, Onslaught. All right, we're in endgame territory now. Onslaught isn't just one of the best defenders in the game. He's arguably the best champion overall. Now, I already know some of you are about to start typing in the comments, Hercules is the best. What are you talking about? And listen, I get it. Herc is a god, but Hercules isn't available as a 7-star. Onslaught is. And in this new era of 7-star champions, that makes Onslaught the undisputed king of Marvel Contest of Champions. Onslaught need to be awakened for defense? Nope. Awakened Onslaught? For nightmare fuel. Unawakened Onslaught? Still a nightmare. This dude is just built different. Why is Onslaught an absolute defensive nightmare? The ultimate two-way champion. Most champions are either great defenders or great attackers. Onslaught? He's both. He's one of the best attackers in the game. Absolute nuke damage. And when he's on defense, good luck. Better have the right counter, because if you don't, you're cooked. 2. His abilities work even when you block. This is what makes Onslaught so unfair. You can't just block and play safe. You can't just parry and wait. His abilities still trigger through block, so you're taking damage even when you're playing carefully. Oh, and guess what? All his damage over time is passive. No willpower healing. No shrugging it off. No easy counters. You're just dying, slowly and painfully. And sometimes, he just straight up becomes unavailable. There are very few champions who can actually deal with him properly. If you don't bring one, you're in for a world of pain. Mess up once, fight's over. If you think you can just power through, nah, he'll just outlast you. You're in Battlegrounds, you've built a solid roster, you're confident, then your opponent drops Onslaught as their defender. You check your lineup, no real counter. GG's, he wins. Final, Onslaught is easily one of the most broken champions in the game right now. Ridiculous damage? Check. Insanely annoying defense? Check. Abilities that work even when you block? Check. Takes 0 skill to be an absolute pain in Battlegrounds and War? 100%. And the craziest part, there's still one defender even worse than this. Yup, the #1 spot is even more painful. Let me Alright, if you've made it this far, you already know what's coming. The most broken, frustrating, rage-inducing defender in Marvel Contest of Champions. Serpent. This guy owns War right now. If you've played recently, you've seen it. He's everywhere. And guess what? He's not going anywhere. Does Serpent need to be awakened for defense? Big yes! That's what makes him immortal. That's what makes him an absolute nightmare. That's why people hate fighting him. Unawakened? Still strong. Awakened? Pure, unfiltered misery. Why is Serpent the worst defender in the game? Where do I even start? One, that immortal nonsense. You think you won? Nope. You think you took him out? Nope. You think you're done? Nope. Serpent just won't die. And the worst part? You can't nullify it. No stagger, no buff removal, no way to stop it. You just have to sit there and suffer. The dude gains power like crazy. You think you're controlling the fight? You think you've got him under control? You think you're safe? Boom, he's at Special 3. You blink and suddenly, you're done. He breaks War like no other. This isn't just a tough fight. Serpent is so overpowered that people have been begging for a nerf. You don't counter him, you lose. You misstep once, you lose. Even if you bring the right counter, you still might lose. He's that ridiculous. The absolute worst defender when paired with War nodes. And the icing on the cake? Some of the War nodes make him even worse. Power gain nodes? GG? Damage mitigation? Have fun. Mystic dispersion messing with your plan? RIP? At this point, if you see Serpent on defense, just pray you have the right counter. Because if you don't, it's over. This is it, the worst defender in Marvel Contest of Champions. You can't kill him. You can't stop his power gain. You can't stop his immortality. You just have to watch as he ruins your entire War run. And that's why Serpent is officially the #1 most frustrating, overpowered, and painful defender in the game. And there you have it, the best defenders in Marvel Contest of Champions. If you made it this far, drop a comment with your most rage-inducing defender moment. Who's given you the most trouble? Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this Defender series is just getting started. And if you haven't already, check out some of the other banger videos on the channel. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next one.